Hello, my name is Judy and this is my channel. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about who created God. We hear that God created the universe, but how did he get here? Before we start talking about that, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me and that little notification bell? I would really appreciate that. And I'm going to preface this by saying anything I think is not proven. I've read some scientific stuff on this subject, because we have to look at it kind of scientifically too. We can't just look at it from just faith. There's got to be some solid meaning to at least some of this, so that it makes sense. And most scientists, of course, do agree that the Big Bang Theory is probably right. There's a lot of proof of that. And I'm actually going to talk about that in another video because that's really, really a very important thing to know about. But the Big Bang, they say originally this matter was just about the size of a tennis ball. And it was like, 14 million degrees or something, and it just blew up. And from that, all the atoms and protons and neutrons and subatomic particles and everything were flying around. And the universe was kind of small and eventually got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's still expanding to this day. We know that. So if we go all the way back to the Big Bang, which is where most scientists go, this happened. We have proof of this. We can see it. It happened. What made it happen? And what was the original little tennis ball full of fire? It was energy and some matter, but of course matter is made out of energy, so it was all energy, enormous amounts of energy. But what made that happen? What made the energy into a little ball that would explode? Scientists don't know. That's where they stop. They're like, well, could be God, but probably not since we can't prove God, The scientists who kind of believe that God is a real thing, they go, yeah, we can't prove that. They go, I think it was God. But where did God come from? Here's where we're limited. Because when you think logically about something that does not seem to have any logic, you come up with an empty slate, and that's why sometimes people don't believe in God at all, because there's no proof, If we can think outside the box, okay, so put your logical mind aside for a minute. Why is it impossible to think that whatever that energy was and is, just was and is? Why do we think there has to be a beginning? Because I can't foresee an end. We're thinking of it like a life, like a human being. We're born and we die. So we're thinking that God has to have a beginning and an end. But really, maybe it doesn't. Maybe God just is. It is all energy, all things, all love, it just is. There's no beginning and no end to it at all. It may be expanding, it may show itself in different ways, and depending on, who's looking up to it or to listen to it or whatever, we all have our own experience and our relationship with things like that. But what if it didn't have to have a beginning? Maybe it just was. Maybe nothing made it. It's always been. It's hard to wrap our minds around that kind of an idea. Well, it has to have started somewhere. Logically, in this little world we live in, that makes sense. But we're not talking about the earth or the people on the earth. We're talking about everything else, including the earth. Maybe it just always was. So when somebody says, who created you? If they're praying to God or talking to God, who created you? Nothing and no one. I just am. Which means we just are. How about that? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it is always, so have we been. That's kind of exciting. I actually never thought of that until just now. I like it. Going with it. Let me know what you think. Told you it would be a short video. Leave some comments for me and give me that little like button. I like the like button. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here.